Yesterday, April 23rd, 2026, Spotify turned 20 years old. To celebrate 2 full decades of tracking how the world listens to music, they published the numbers, all of them. They released the complete all-time most streamed list, drawn from hundreds of millions of users across 184 countries. And the number one most streamed artist in the 20-year history of the platform is Taylor Swift. She sits at the very top of the list, ahead of Drake, Bad Bunny, The Weeknd, and Ariana Grande. But looking into the specific categories reveals a strange mathematical anomaly. The most streamed song of all time does not belong to her. It is Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. In fact, Taylor Swift does not appear anywhere on the top songs list. The albums list shows a similar pattern. The most streamed album ever is En Verano Sin Ti by Bad Bunny, holding a record 22 billion streams. Taylor's highest entry on the albums list is Lover, which comes in at number 8. Normally, a massive algorithmic spike from 1 or 2 viral songs drives an artist up the overall streaming rankings, but her total stream count relies on catalog consistency. She has 12 studio albums and 5 Taylor's versions, generating streams independently and simultaneously. Her fan base cycles through these eras continuously. Listeners discover Cruel Summer and immediately go back through the Lover deep cuts. They hear Antihero and spend a week listening through the Midnight's vault tracks. She accumulated more total streams than any other artist in history by making music that listeners never actually stopped playing. This Spotify announcement arrives right as she prepares for a completely different milestone. On July 3, 2026, she is getting married in New York City. She and Travis Kelce are walking down the aisle exactly 10 weeks from now. In the months leading up to that wedding date, she has rapidly stacked up major industry wins. In February, she secured another Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit, tying Rihanna for the third most #1 hits in the history of the chart. That leaves only 2 musical acts ahead of her. She is now actively chasing Mariah Carey, and the final hurdle standing between her and the record for most #1 hits in Billboard history is the Beatles. Before tying Rihanna, the IFPI named her the best-selling global artist of 2025. This marked her 6th time winning the award, officially moving her past the previous record holder, Michael Jackson. 20 years of industry peaks, from album sales to historical Billboard charts to streaming dominance, are all landing at the same moment she is preparing for a wedding that has dominated the global news cycle for months. Some observers view these Spotify numbers with skepticism. They correctly point out that Bad Bunny held the title of single most streamed artist on the platform for 4 consecutive years. Looking at this scale helps visualize the debate. The Spotify all-time metric inherently rewards an artist with a deep catalog and decades of continuous listening over the massive, concentrated cultural impact of a single blockbuster release. By the measurement of singular individual works, Bad Bunny and The Weeknd are the defining artists of the modern streaming era. By the measurement of total cumulative presence across an entire career, Taylor Swift is first. Both of these measurements hold true simultaneously. Her deep catalog generated more total streams over 20 years than the most dominant algorithms of the last 5. The planning for the July ceremony is currently deep in motion. Sources report that close friends like Gigi Hadid and Selena Gomez are heavily involved in bridesmaid preparations for an event blending media spectacle with private sentimentality. Their scheduled honeymoon itinerary covers the Bahamas, Lake Como, the French Riviera, Croatia, Greece, Singapore, Australia, Fiji, and Hawaii. All of this must conclude before Travis returns for NFL training camp in late July. Leading up to that wedding day, Travis has reportedly arranged to send her a new floral bouquet every single day for 100 days. This massive personal culmination perfectly mirrors her career timeline. Spotify launched in April 2006, and she released her debut album in October of that same year. She has been making music for essentially the entire lifespan of the platform. Fans who discovered her on the platform in their teens are now in their 30s. They introduced their younger siblings to her albums, and the recent Eras Tour brought in a massive new demographic of young children. Today, 3 separate generations stream her music simultaneously. At the iHeartRadio Music Awards in March, She stood at the microphone with her Pop Album of the Year trophy. She told the room that her music sounds happy and free, exactly because of how loved she feels by her partner. She spent years documenting exactly what she wanted from her personal life while building a massive musical catalog. In this single 10-week window, she claimed the all-time streaming record, matched the most famous names in music history, and finalized her wedding.